والسلام علي يوم ولدت ويوم أموت ويوم أبعث حيا.
الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله القائل على كل نفس بما كسبت، المحصي عليها كل ما اقترحت، القائل في كتابه الكريم: وأن ليس للإنسان إلا ما سعى، وأن سعيه سوف يرى، ثم يجزاه الجزاء الأوفى، وأن إلى ربك المنتهى. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. In the last khutbah, we mentioned that the Quran teaches us that every single Islamic ruling has a wisdom behind it. يعلمنا القرآن أن لكل حكم حكمة. Every Quranic rule, every Islamic rule would have a wisdom behind it. And we, in the last two khutbahs, we mentioned two primary wisdoms for fasting. The first one is achieving taqwa لعلكم تتقون, so that you may become mindful of Allah. In the last khutbah we talked about the second wisdom, that you might be grateful لعلكم تشكرون. Today we're looking at another wisdom behind fasting. That is the value of sabr. One of the things that Ramadan teaches us is patience. How to become patient. How to practice patience. And the Prophet ﷺ teaches us something that is so simple. Some people would say, I'm not patient. The way Allah has created me in this way. Allah has made me impatient, so I just act like that. The Prophet ﷺ says, no, this is not how it is, how patient it is. He says, وَمَنْ يَتَصَبَّرْ يُصَبِّرْهُ اللَّهُ. It's just a matter of practice. If you practice patience, you will become patient. If you practice patience, you will become patient. وَمَنْ يَتَصَبَّرْ يُصَبِّرْهُ اللَّهُ. Right? When he ﷺ passed by that lady, وَكَانَتْ تَبْكِي عِنْدَ قَبْرِ اللَّهِ, he passed by a lady who was sitting next to a grave and she was crying. The Prophet ﷺ said to her, اتَّقِ اللَّهَ وَاصْبِرِي, be mindful of Allah and have a sense of patience. She said, إِلَيْكَ عَنِّي, keep away from me. إِنَّكَ لَمْ تُصَبْ بِمُصِيبَتِي, you haven't experienced what I'm experiencing. The Prophet left her. تركها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. فقيل لها إنه رسول الله. After the Prophet left her, she was told, this is the Prophet, how dare you speak to him in this way? فجاءت إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم تعتذر. She came to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم apologizing. And she said, لم أعرف, I didn't know who you were. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم told her something that is so essential. He said, إنما الصبر عند الصدمة الأولى. That patience is meant to be practiced when you are in the midst of the situation, not after. So you can't come to me and say, I apologize, I was angry. Listen, that's not an excuse. You are meant to be patient when it is happening. So Ramadan gives us a chance to really practice patience. And the Prophet ﷺ said, الصوم نصف الصبر. الصوم نصف الصبر. That the fasting is literally half of patience. Fasting is half of patience. And then he says, وَالصَّبْرُ نِصْفُ الْإِيمَانِ. And that patience is half of faith. Patience is half of faith. That, automatically makes fasting 1/4 of our faith. 1/4 of Islam is to do with fasting. So patience is very important, is a very important value behind behind fasting. That's why the Prophet ﷺ hugely emphasized that if you do not practice patience as you are fasting, Your fasting is of very little value. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, إِذَا كَانَ يَوْمُ صَوْمِ أَحَدِكُمْ فَلَا يَغْفِرْ وَلَا يَسْخَرْ. When you are fasting, never argue, never raise your voice even. فَإِنْ سَابَهُ أَحَدٌ أَوْ قَاتَلَهُ أَوْ شَاتَمَهُ. Even if someone comes to you, fighting, wanting to fight, wanting to argue, wanting to raise the voice, فَلْيَقُلْ إِنِّي صَائِمٌ. All you have to say is to say, I am fasting. I do not practice those things. So the whole point of fasting, one of the key points of fasting is that it teaches us how to practice patience. It gives us some hope in ourselves that we can do it. We can say no to our own impulses. The impulse of anger. The Prophet ﷺ once asked his companions, مَا تَعُدُّونَ السُّرَعَةَ فِيكُمْ? Whom do you think is a very strong person, is a good wrestler? قالوا يا رسول الله السرعة فينا من لا يغلبه الرجال. The one who defeats other people and no one can defeat him. The Prophet ﷺ said, by redefining what people understand by strength, he said, ليس بذلك. That's not really what defines قوة. That's not what defines sur'a, that having a strong, having power to your body. He said, إنما السرعة الذي يملك نفسه عند الغضب. It is the one who actually takes control of himself when they are angry. Again, fasting comes to teach us that again, we can practice this. We can take control of our own impulses. And another reason the Prophet ﷺ says, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَجْرِي مِنَ ابْنِ آدَمَ مَجْرَى الدَّمِ. That the shaitan flows through our bodies just like blood. فَضَيِّقُوا مَجَالِيهِ بِالْجُوعِ وَالصَّوْمِ. So you are meant to be restricting the paths of the shaitan in our bodies through two things, fasting and hunger. By way of disciplining your body, again by way of saying no to your own appetites. So patience is one of the key values behind fasting. If one does not gain, again, if fasting does not teach you those values, the value of gratitude, the value of taqwa, the value of patience, then it's very little value. And that's why he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in a very scary hadith actually, he said, رُبَّ صَائِمٍ لَا يَأْخُذُ مِنْ صِيَامِهِ إِلَّا الْجُوعُ وَالْعَطَشِ. Perhaps there are people who would fast, but they gain nothing out of their fasting, but thirst and hunger. وَرُبَّ قَائِمٍ لَا يَأْخُذُ مِنْ قِيَامِهِ إِلَّا التَّعَبُ وَالسَّهَرِ. And there are people that would stand up for prayers by night time, but they gain nothing out of this but tiredness and staying up late. Mainly because they didn't get the point. The point is that one gets to really gain those values. And when it comes to patience, more particularly, it's a very high value with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the Quran, Allah teaches us that He is with the patience. إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. Allah is with the patience. What does that mean? It means Allah is supporting you. And when you get Allah's support, then nothing can triumph you. There's ma'iyyatullah, Allah's companionship. It's one of the key fruits that that one gains out of patience. Not only does Allah accompany those who practice patience, but actually He loves the patient ones. وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الصَّابِرِينَ. Allah loves those who practice patience. Right? And again He says, وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. Always give good news to those who practice patience. Allah will have specific openings for them. And the thing is, patience is so central to our lives. We can't do without patience. Simply because how Allah designed this world, He will always have challenges for us. Whether you're poor, you're rich, you're sick, you're healthy, there will always be challenges. The definition of this life is a life of ibtila, a life of tribulations, and a life of Allah is trying us in so many ways. The Arab poet says, ثمانية تجري على الناس كلهم. That there are 8 things that happen to everyone. ثمانية تجري على الناس كلهم. 8 things happen to everyone, every human being. ولا بد للإنسان أن يحظى الثمانية. And everyone will have to experience one of those 8, to experience those 8 feelings, 8 situations. And he says, سرور وحزن واجتماع وفرقة ويسر وعسر ثم سقط وعافية. سرور وحزن, a sense of sadness and a sense of happiness. You're not all the time happy, but you're not all the time sad. So you experience both. سرور وحزن واجتماع وفرقة, a sense of loneliness. You feel that you're alone, no one is next to you, no one is really supporting you. But sometimes you feel that you are together with other people, that you are united with other people. واجتماع وفرقة ويسر وعسر, and a sense of ease and a sense of difficulty. Sometimes you feel that everything is perfectly fine and everything is running smoothly, and sometimes you feel that everything is collapsing. Right? And then he says, what? ثم سقط وعافية, and a state of sickness and a state of soundness. Sometimes you're absolutely fine, your body works and functioning properly, sometimes you're down. Every human being goes through those 8 feelings. A sense of sorrowness, and a sense of happiness, a sense of loneliness, and a sense of togetherness, a sense of sickness, and a sense of soundness, and a sense of ease, and a sense of difficulties. How do we navigate through those without patience? How do we navigate through those 8 feelings, 8 experiences that every human being goes through without patience? You can't. Otherwise, if you don't have a sense of patience, one will always be in a state of anxiety. And what patience teaches us is that it teaches us that we have faith in Allah. وَمَا أَصَابَ مِن مُّصِيبَةٍ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. That there is no calamity that happens on earth except that it happens with the permission of Allah. Then the Quran says, وَمَنْ يُؤْمِن بِاللَّهِ يَهْدِ قَلْبَهُ. And whoever has faith in Allah will always be calm. Calmness is the opposite of anxiety. And that is the fruit of patience. So again, fasting gives us a chance to practice patience and to get closer to Allah, to gain His companionship in Allah and to gain His love. Wallahu yuhibbul sabirin. So again, let's not forget that patience is a key value behind fasting, and that they need to check ourselves against this. Am I patient when someone comes willing to fight against me? Am I patient enough when someone comes willing to raise the voice and argue with me? That is the real test. How many times did I say in Ramadan, Allahumma inni sa'im? Allahumma inni I am fasting. I'm not responding to this. I'm not participating in this backbiting. I'm not participating in this fight. I'm not participating in this argument. This is the true measurement of fasting. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد في الأولين صل على سيدنا محمد في الآخرين صل على سيدنا محمد إلى يوم الدين. اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان واجعلنا من الراشدين. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. أقم الصلاة
مباركا أينما كنت